The Mount Elbrus, the highest peak in the Europe, is located in Alps mountains. Now this information is incorrect. Yes, it is highest mountain in Europe, but where it is located? It is located in the Greater Caucasus Mountains in Russia. So if suppose the boundaries of tiger reserves are to be altered, then it should be recommended by NTCA, National Tiger Conservation Authority, and approved by National Board for Wildlife. Both are statutory bodies under this law.
Liquidity crisis. Obviously, liquidity crisis means the demand for currency is more than the supply of currency, and that is talking about the debt. What happens that people start actually selling debt in return of rupee.
World Heritage Committee is a committee which which focuses on declaring particular sites as World Heritage sites and their maintenance on all other aspects.
What is the speed of sound? The speed of sound, let's say it is V, it is 343 meter per second. Okay, it is around this value. All right, this is the speed of sound in kind of air.
Hello everyone, so this is the AIPMT discussion for test 4 and I will be covering geography and environment section. So let's first talk about in general about the AIPMT 4, and we have the record of first 3 tests of all of you, and it is very let's say motivating that you have been continuously giving these AIPMTs. You try to have a track of your marks also, because we are let's say trying to have such kind of questions in AIPMT which somehow is testing your knowledge in different subjects and holistically also. And that's why in every AIPMT we are trying to bring in new elements also. Like this AIPMT also we have tried to incorporate the changes that UPSC has done in framing of the question. I will tell you which questions. Okay, so try to give these AIPMTs, and we are going to have mock test, Panchasutra mock test, so you can also give those tests. Without any delay, let's start with the questions. And like every let's say AIPMT, this AIPMT also we have brought in a lot of applied questions based on concepts, a lot of map based questions from static as well as places in news portion, and some of the resource based questions like this one. You can see this is the new framing that UPSC has introduced, and we are asking 3-4 questions from different sections of let's say your syllabus. Although UPSC has asked 1 or 2 questions only, it may increase the proportion this year. Okay, so look at the framing here, that statement 1, statement 2 and statement 3. Okay, there is statement 3 here, right? So this was the framing, the new framing that UPSC has adopted. Now consider the following statements. Statement 1, the North Sea records higher salinity as compared to Baltic Sea. The North Atlantic drift brings more saline water to North Sea. Now this statement is correct, right? North Sea records higher salinity as compared to Baltic Sea. Now we have to look for reasons for this. The statement 1 is correct here, and you can see all options says that statement 1 is correct. So we can presume this thing, North Sea records higher salinity. Now look at the second and third statement. North Atlantic drift brings more saline water to North Sea. That is true. It is bringing more saline water from the tropical areas, and it is increasing the salinity of North Sea region. So this statement is correct. What about this one? More fresh water is getting added to Baltic Sea from rivers and streams. Yes, that is also true from Finland, and we can say that let's say Nordic countries, lot of let's say small streams, they are bringing all the fresh water into Baltic Sea, and that's why it is having comparatively lower salinity. Okay, so both statements are correctly explained this statement, and that's why answer will be A here. Answer will be A. All right, now look at the second question. Yes, now this is 2 statement based questions. Yes. The both statements, they are asking about Black Sea. Okay, last year there was question on North Sea, right? So 2 statements were given. So we can expect always, the Black Sea was always in news in last 2-3 years because of Ukraine-Russia war. So geography based questions. Its lower levels are almost biologically dead. Now this is very unique feature characteristics of Black Sea. The reason is there is no overturning of the water in a vertical manner. right? So the vertical water is not going down, and the upper layer is not, let's say, mixing with the lower layer, and because of that what happens is the oxygen, dissolved oxygen, is not reaching to the lower layers. So its lower levels are devoid of dissolved oxygen and contain hydrogen sulfide. So because of that, the lower layers are kind of dead zone in Black Sea. So this is correctly explaining this statement, and here also answer would be A. So this is the unique information, and many of you might not have this kind of information. This you can add to your value addition. Okay. Now look at the command of the question. It is saying that incorrect about El Nino phenomenon. Incorrect, it is saying. We know about the El Nino phenomenon. It is unusual arrival of warm waters along the Peru coast, and it changes the oceanic and atmospheric circulation, which is coupled in the Pacific, Central Pacific Ocean, we can say. Now what is happening here? There is formation of low pressure in the Eastern Pacific Ocean near the equator. Now what happens in the Eastern Pacific Ocean? Because of El Nino, there is warm water has arrived there, and because of that there will be low pressure. So this is true, it is correct. Now rainfall may occur along the usually dry Peru coast. That is also true. Because of warm waters, because of low pressure, the wind will move up, it will be condensed, there will be chances of precipitation. There is upwelling of cold water along the eastern coast of Australia. There is no such upwelling along the eastern coast. We learn that rather the upwelling along the west, let's say eastern margins of we can say that Pacific along the Peru coast, that is suppressed. That is suppressed. It is not like कि पूरा upwelling अभी reverse हो रहा है. It is not the case, and that's why this is incorrect. And incorrect statement is asked. It causes dry and arid conditions in Australia and Indonesia. So that is true. We can say correct. So answer is C here. Now here elimination method will work. You know about the El Nino, and you can eliminate this one and this one as correct, and remaining statement, even if you are not confident, you will mark this correct. ये समझना है हमें इसमें. All right. Now next question. If an anticyclone is formed in the upper atmosphere, which of the following conditions can be observed in lower atmosphere below it? So we are continuously, let's say, coming across the news like heat dome, formation of heat dome, heat waves because of this, and the formation of anticyclone. Even nowadays, the newspapers are also covering this, though. So you should be knowing about the geographical phenomenon. So what happens when the anticyclone is basically high pressure? Okay, so high pressure is formed in the upper atmosphere. So what are the conditions below it in the lower atmosphere? Yes, the wind is forced to move downward and creating a spreading effect. That is true. When there is high pressure, there will be a downward spiral movement of the wind, and there will be spreading effect near the ground. Okay, so this is, we can say, correct. Formation of cyclonic system of wind circulation. No. At lower, we can say that ground level, lower atmosphere, there will not be any cyclonic circulation. Rather, a cyclonic circulation will be like spiral movement in the upward direction. The upward atmosphere, or let's say upper atmosphere, it is having basically let's say the downward movement of wind. So it will not allow the upward movement of wind, and that's why this is incorrect. Now convective movement of air from lower to upper atmosphere, this is also not happening. So we can say only one is the correct answer here. Okay, only one is the correct answer. All right. So have you understood this? Formation of cyclonic system of wind circulation. One of the precondition was basically there should be upper air divergence. Upper air divergence. Here anticyclone means there is convergence. You can use that logic also. All right. Now moving on. Regarding, yes, static mapping section here. So Pyrenees mountains in Europe. Okay, Pyrenees mountains form the natural boundary between Spain and Portugal. Spain and Portugal, Iberian Peninsula, we can say that in Europe. Now the Pyrenees mountains, they form the natural boundary between Spain, not Portugal, Spain and France. Okay. Spain and France. Basically, it is forming boundary between Iberian Peninsula and the mainland Europe. So we can say this is incorrect statement. Caucasus mountains are located between Caspian Sea and Black Sea. Now this is true. Greater Caucasus and Lesser Caucasus, the countries like Georgia, Armenia, Azerbaijan and some parts of Russia. Now, the Mount Elbrus, the highest peak in the Europe, is located in Alps mountains. Now, this information is incorrect. Yes, it is highest mountain in Europe, but where it is located? It is located in the Greater Caucasus Mountains in Russia. Now, this is incorrect information. So, what is the correct answer? We are asked to identify the correct statement. 2 only is the correct answer. 2 only is the correct answer. Now, moving on. Yes, again static part. Now India mapping and the correctly matched information. 3 columns. This year UPSC has adopted this kind of, let's say, framing. 3 columns. Now I told you it is, let's say, some students might find it difficult, but I always tell this is easier. Why? Because of elimination method. Because more the information in front of us, easy to eliminate. Okay. So how we can eliminate this matches? Yes, Chambal River, Indira Sagar, Rajasthan, dams. Now across the Chambal River, we know the names of dams where they are, let's say, built. Now Indira Sagar dam or Indira Sagar project is across Narmada River in MP, okay, in Madhya Pradesh. So we can say that this is incorrect. Across Chambal, we have Gandhi Sagar, then Maharana Pratap Sagar in Rajasthan, Gandhi Sagar in MP. So look at this statement, Narmada, Gandhi Sagar it is saying. It is not Narmada, rather it is Chambal. Okay, Chambal, and we can say that Gandhi Sagar is in MP. So this is also incorrectly matched. I am telling you, I am not looking at this, I am just eliminating from this only. Okay, then Rihan Dam, across Rihan River, we can say Gobind Vallabh Pant Sagar. It is the largest artificial, we can say that, reservoir, or we can say that this is the name of that reservoir. And yes, it is in Uttar Pradesh, tributary of Son River. We can say that, Rihan River. So when it just enters into, we can say, the Uttar Pradesh, there this dam has been built, Rihan Dam. So this information is correct. So only 1 is the correct answer here. Only 1 is correctly matched here. Okay. Now next is, now this kind of framing was there for Ganga River this year in UPSC Prelims. So we have asked this Godavari River and its tributaries west to east. Godavari River and its tributaries, we can say west to east. So in mapping section we do this aspect also. So first of all, in Maharashtra we have Purna River is its tributary. Whether it is Indravati or Pranhita earlier, now this is confusing. It is Pranhita first. Pranhita is the combined flow of Payan Ganga and Vayan Ganga. From Maharashtra, we can say that further it is going to be called Pranhita, forming boundary between, we can say, Maharashtra and Telangana. Right. So what happens here? Yes. Let's talk about that. First of all, there will be Purna, there Pranhita, then Indravati coming from Chhattisgarh, Bastar region, and then forming boundary between Maharashtra and Chhattisgarh, and then just enters into Telangana to drain into Godavari and Sabri River in, we can say, Andhra Pradesh. So this is the correct sequence from west to east. So B is the correct answer. All right, moving on. Yes, consider the following statements and how many of them are correct. And now we are talking about the resources, and iron ore is very important one. We are covering that. India has the 5th largest reserves of iron ore. 5th largest reserves of iron, that is true. Even for coal, it is 5th largest in the world, iron ore. So this is correct statement. Most of the hematite deposits, yes. So iron ore, most quality iron ore is the magnetite one, then hematite. Then we can say that siderite and limonite and siderite. In this manner, the amount of iron content and amount of purity, or we can say the kind of impurities are there. So most of the hematite deposits are found in eastern states. That is true. We can say that the states like Odisha and we can say Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand. So and most of the magnetite deposits are in the southern states like Karnataka. That is also true. Now Odisha is the leading state of the iron ore production. This is true. We can say more than 50%, around 51% production by one state only. That is Odisha. All 3 statements are correct here. So what should be the answer? C is the correct answer. Now, next is, yes, it is the newest refinery of India. Now, there is a description here. In past 2 years, we have, let's say, questions like match the following on ports or the greenfield, let's say, airports, last year question. Now, this year we can expect question like this. So yes, it is important development. It is the newest refinery of India being built by Hindustan Petroleum Corporation Limited. It will process crude oil imported from Middle East as well as oil sourced from nearby oil fields. Now this is key information. Nearby oil fields, it is saying. It is slated to cater to the increased demand of petroleum and petrochemical products in the northern, western and central. So largely it is part of, we can say, northern India. Now options are also confusing. Okay, but we know that here in Vadhavan, it was in news, there is going to be a major port constructed in future. Palghar district of Maharashtra, so it is not correct. Porbandar, no, there is no such news, rather it is Barmer in Rajasthan where this refinery is being built. Okay, so D is the correct answer. If you do not know specific information, don't attempt this question. You may get confused because very nearby in Gujarat, there is always possibility that there will be refinery. ठीक है, आप confuse हो जाओगे यहाँ पर. And nearby oil reserves are also there, right? So yes, Barmer is the correct answer. Now, this is also, we can say, tricky. Why? Because how many of the above locations it is saying? You may have read about Gorakhpur in Haryana, this is true. But these are also new proposed locations. Mahi Banswara in Rajasthan as well as Chutka, Madhya Pradesh. We can say that this should be like this. And yes, all three is the correct answer. All three is the correct answer. Okay. Now next, again the places in news, we can say places in news. COP26, reason for being in the news, cities, Riyadh, yes, Riyadh, we had United Nations, we can say conference on, or we can say convention on combating desertification, COP16, this is correct. Baku, everyone knows COP29 happened, Baku, Azerbaijan in November month, this happened in December 2024, November 2024, COP29 of UNFCCC. And Cali, Colombia, okay, Cali, Colombia, COP16, UNCBD. Okay, so this is also correct. All three are correctly matched here. All three are correctly matched. So this is also very specific information. Now, regarding match the following places in news in India, tunnels connecting different places and locations. So, Sela tunnel, Tezpur to Tawang, Arunachal Pradesh. Yes, that is true. Tezpur in Assam and it is connecting Tawang in Arunachal Pradesh. Sela tunnel, this is correct, we can say. Sela tunnel at Sela Pass and Arunachal Pradesh. Now, Zimur, Srinagar to Leh. Now, this is very specific. Let's say there are so many tunnels between, we can say, Srinagar to Leh. If you talk specifically, it is connecting, let's say that winter tourist destinations in Sonmarg and that region, we can say, which are generally closed during, we can say that winter time period. So this needs to be specific information. And you can see that it is, what it is saying, Himachal Pradesh. No, this is in, where it is, we can say that it is in Jammu and Kashmir. So this is incorrect, right? This is incorrect. Shinkula, Lahul Valley to Jhaskar Valley. That is true. Now it is exactly located border between Himachal Pradesh and Ladakh. We will say that this is correct. Ladakh is part of that. So this one is correctly matched. So only 2 is correctly matched here. So answer will be B. All right. Then next is these locations. Recently mentioned in the news, Jabalia, Al-Maghazi, Al-Shati. So this, from this you can identify it is, we can say, refugee camp, and other, it is not talking about any refugee. So immediately you will get this correct, right? Palestinian refugee camps in Gaza Strip. They were continuously in news in last 2 years. So we are always expecting question. Jabalia, Al-Maghazi, Al-Shati. All right. Now what about this one? India has replaced. Now this is very specific, and look at the command, incorrect statement. So recently only this month, the Hindu newspaper had covered this news, talking about how Chinese population is changing and their policy on population policies are going to be changing in near future. So India has replaced China as the most populous country of the world in 2023. This is correct. This was the major development. Now India is the most populous country in the world. Now China has favorable sex ratio with the greater number of females as compared to male. Now, in general, the developing country will not have, let's say, favorable sex ratio to female. ये logic use करके I will use that as an incorrect statement. China's population has declined for the third consecutive year in 2024. This was the news, the heading of that news in newspaper. So that's why if you have been following and reading the newspaper, especially the Hindu, आपने ये statement सही mark किया होता. So only incorrect here is 2 only, and that's why that is the answer. B is the answer here. And the last question for geography. Again, match the following regions mentioned in the news and countries. So Sistan region was in news. Sistan, Baluchistan province of Iran. So it is mentioned Pakistan, so this is incorrect. Tigray region, yes, it is, we can say, conflict prone region. Tigray rebels are there, they are fighting with Ethiopian government. At present there is peace. So Ethiopia is the correct answer. Northern part of Ethiopia, Tigray region. Then Donbas, eastern part of Ukraine, it is continuously in news. Donetsk Basin, we can say Ukraine, not Russia. This is incorrectly matched. Lachin corridor, many times in news. Already UPSC has asked. Nagorno-Karabakh region, Nagorno-Karabakh. So basically Lachin corridor is connecting Armenia to that Nagorno-Karabakh region through Azerbaijan. So it is located in Azerbaijan, not Afghanistan. So only one pair is correctly matched here. So we can say that A is the correct answer. Alright, so keep solving these AIPMTs and try to judge your preparation, where you stand in the competition. Alright, thank you. Hello everyone, let's continue with the environment and ecology discussion. So there will be total 15 questions in environment section, and the way we have asked questions in AIPMT 1, 2 and 3, we are continuing that trend. With some kind of unique species and their behavioral characteristics have been asked. Environmental law related questions are there, and along with that some standard concept based questions are also there, like ecological niche, ecosystem and ecological succession and all these things. So let's discuss the questions one by one. So look at the first question from environment section. Wood Wide Web. So World Wide Web हम पढ़ते हैं internet connection के लिए, right? So similarly, there is a network of fungi which are, let's say, having a symbiotic relation with the roots of plants. So that particular network of roots and mycorrhizal fungi that connects different plants in the forest. So this network is called as Wood Wide Web. This is unique information, you can note down in your note. We can expect such term based question in your prelims from environment section like this. And this network helps, let's say, all the plants to share the nutrients derived from the fungi, mycorrhizal fungi. Now, next question. Again, the unique, let's say, behavior of the insect is being described in the above paragraph. They can fly straight up and down, move forward and back, hover like a helicopter, and even mate in the mid-air. They rank among the world's fastest flying insects and are considered the most suitable biological indicator for the health of aquatic ecosystems. Now, you can also use some kind of, let's say, logic that butterflies are not, let's say, associated with aquatic ecosystem. They are terrestrial ecosystem largely. You eliminate this. Butterflies are not fastest. ठीक है, धीरे धीरे उड़ते रहते हैं butterflies, right? Then honeybees, if you talk about honeybees, they derive the, let's say, nutrition from the flowers. They're terrestrial, of course, largely. So one can use the logic and eliminate this also. Same is with beetles. They derive their food from, we can say, that terrestrial ecosystem. Now, the ones which are largely deriving their food from, we can say, that aquatic ecosystem, and they are dependent on them, is dragonflies. Very unique. So elimination method also works if you do not know, let's say, exact answer here. They are called as indicator species for aquatic ecosystem, dragonflies. आपने देखा होगा शायद जो हेलीकॉप्टर, बचपन में हमने देखा था हेलीकॉप्टर जिसको कभी कभी बच्चे जो है रस्सी से बांधते भी थे उड़ाने के लिए. तो basically that is dragonflies. Okay, so that is, we can say, the correct answer here. Next, consider the following statements about Bengal slow loris. Again, the species based question. And it is, we can say, that important, the highest protection has been given, and schedule 1 for this particular nocturnal species. यहाँ पे क्या लिखा हुआ है? Diurnal लिखा हुआ है. It is nocturnal, night, let's say, dwelling species, and it is found in evergreen and we can say that tropical, let's say, wet forest. So largely it is found in, we can say that, northeastern India also, evergreen forest of northeastern India, and Bengal slow loris is a kind of, we can say, species which marks territory through urine. Okay. So nocturnal species, remember this, and we can say that the schedule 1 highest protection under Wildlife Protection Act. So this is incorrect, but this one is correct. So 2 only is the correct answer here. B is the correct answer. Now moving on, look at the question here. It is, we can say, specific provisions of Wildlife Protection Act 1972 environmental law. Yes, once a tiger reserve is declared in any state by the government, it cannot be denotified under any circumstance. There will not be any such absolute statement in any law, right? Otherwise, कोई चीज बनती है तो कभी वो टूटेगी ही नहीं या change ही नहीं होगी. Yes, there is a provision that except in accordance with, or we can say that approval from, let's say, the authorities like NTCA and National Board for Wildlife. So if suppose the boundaries of tiger reserves are to be altered, then it should be recommended by NTCA, National Tiger Conservation Authority, and approved by National Board for Wildlife. Both are statutory bodies under this law. National Board for Wildlife is the highest, we can say, decision making body, chaired by Prime Minister himself. So we can say this is incorrect. Now, official approval from the NTCA is sufficient to change the boundary of tiger reserve. Now, it is not sufficient. It is required, but it is not sufficient. Approval from National Board for Wildlife is also required. So this is also incorrect. Neither 1 nor 2. D is the correct answer here. Neither 1 nor 2. All right. Next. Now look at the command of the question. It is saying incorrect. Now, global green credits. Global green credits were introduced by the government of India in conjunction with the Paris Agreement. So this is, we can say that, correct, because section 6 of, we can say, Paris Agreement, section 6 talks about, we can say, the voluntary carbon market, carbon offsets market, we can say that. So this is correct. Now goal of the let's say green credits is to incentivize voluntary, we can say, carbon offset measures in the member countries. Now, yes, that is true. We can say voluntary incentivize, market को incentivize करने के लिए ही था ये. तो हम यहाँ पर incorrect की बात कर रहे हैं, तो D will be the answer, right? Incorrect की बात कर रहा है, right? Now, next, recently notified Eco-Mark rules 2024. It is replacing the earlier Eco-Mark scheme, and it will be implemented by CPCB, Central Pollution Control Board, in let's say conjunction with BIS, Bureau of Indian Standard. So what this scheme is about? It is to promote the energy efficiency and environmental friendliness of the products, its manufacturing and its negative impact on the environment. So rules mention detailed criteria that manufacturers need to follow the grant of Eco-Mark. That is true, we can say. The rules cover products ranging from cosmetics, edible oil. So surely they will cover cosmetics. So हम ये logic use कर सकते हैं. Electrical goods also Eco-Mark. That is true. Yes, rules are binding in nature for the manufacturers of those products mentioned here. So all 3 statements are correct. All 3 statements are correct here about Eco-Mark scheme. Next, match the following here, and it is talking about the river valley locations and the protected areas. Kanha Tiger Reserve. Yes, Kanha Tiger Reserve, we have Halon River Valley there located in Madhya Pradesh. Kanha Tiger Reserve, this is correct. Now Bandipur Tiger Reserve, Moyar. Now this is incorrect. Moyar, it is located, Moyar Valley, it is located in Mudumalai. It was recently in news also. Those who are a part of PGP program at Lukmaan IAS, they may be solving this correctly. Right? We had covered this in mapping section. Moyar Valley, it was in news. Why? It is, we can say, largest habitat for, we can say that, Gibbs vulture. Gibbs vulture in India, Moyar Valley, Mudumalai Tiger Reserve in Tamil Nadu. So this is incorrect. And Bandipur Tiger Reserve, you can see between Bandipur and Nagarhole, there is Kabini River, which is tributary of Kaveri River flowing there. Satkosia Tiger Reserve is located in the basin of Mahanadi River, we can say Mahanadi River Valley. This is correct. So only 2 is the correct answer here. Only 2 is the correct answer. Alright, moving on. Now, the names of the species, look at this. What is common to these, let's say, mentioned in the news? Samaroba, glossa, or Eupatorium, the Senna spectatus. The Senna spectatus, PGP students, mapping section, if you remember. So we had covered this. How? Invasive species. Yes, these are, we can say that, non-native plants that have led to food crisis in wildlife in Western Ghats. It was in news because of that Bhadra Tiger Reserve. If you remember this species, Bhadra Tiger Reserve. We had covered this in current affairs. So this is the current, we can say, topic, and C is the correct answer. All right. Now, next, yes, compressed biogas is the purified form of biogas that is having more than 90% of methane, and we can say remaining carbon dioxide. Okay, carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. Now, what is, let's say, the explanation statement for this one? Presence of carbon dioxide in the biogas reduces its calorific value. That is true. It reduces its calorific value, and that's why we need to increase the calorific value to make it more efficient. And that's why we have compressed biogas, which is purified. In purification process, what we are doing, we are increasing the amount of methane and reducing the amount of carbon dioxide in that purification. So this is the process of manufacturing compressed biogas, and both statements are correct. Statement 2 is explaining statement 1. So A is the correct answer. All right. Now moving on. Yes, lettuce. Lettuce is, we can say, a kind of, let's say, vegetable, or that is grown, it can be grown even in the soilless environment, like we can say hydroponics or aquaponics. Look at this. Lettuce can be cultivated directly in water without need of soil. This is correct. Now, biofertilizers can be used to grow lettuce in soilless condition. That is also true. Biofertilizers can be used. They can be directly added into the water, and water is providing nutrients there. Lettuce grow much faster in soilless condition than the traditionally cultivated lettuce. That is also true. If you see in the soilless condition, it is only taking 5 weeks, but traditional, we can say, if you see traditionally cultivated, it is taking 9 weeks to grow. So that's why we can say that this is, pardon me, this is also correct. All 3 statements are correct here. So C is the correct answer. Now next question, Pygmy Hog Conservation Program initiated in 2020. You should know important species and the conservation programs like Project Tiger, Project Leopard, Project, we can say that Kashmir Stag, or Hangul, Project Hangul, we can say that. Important project, Project Elephant is also there. This Pygmy Hog is also important because it is critically endangered species, and it is endemic to that Manas Tiger Reserve, Manas National Park in Assam, having border with Bhutan. Pygmy hog is the smallest species of pig, very rare, we can say. So conservation program actually started in 1995 only. It is started in 1995. Now this was launched by the government of Assam, or the forest department of Assam, in collaboration with, not this one, there is one trust, private trust, we can say that. आप मॉडल आंसर में देख लीजिए, नाम याद लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है, देखिए, बट वर्ल्ड वाइड फंड नहीं है उसमें. Okay, so we can say this is incorrect. Pygmy hog is a critically endangered species and found in, we can say, Himalayan grasslands of Assam. This is correct. So this one is incorrect. Only third statement, that is only one, is correct here. A is the correct answer. Then yes, now it is description of particular type of ecosystem. So what is that? Vegetation is largely woody and we can say sclerophyllous. Sclerophyllous is the important term here. That is largely found in semi-arid and drought-prone region, which means hard-leaved. Then trees like oak, eucalyptus can be found dotting in such. Dotting मतलब ज़्यादा नहीं है, थोड़े ही है. That flourished when winters receive rainfall. Now winters receive rainfall and summers are parched. This is unique type of climate we learn in geography, where Mediterranean, we can say that type of climate. Immediately I will see the options. It is Mediterranean ecosystem. That is the correct answer. No need to read any other thing. Okay, so we can say that C is the correct answer. Now next question. Okay, the trees, plants are native to. In past UPSC has asked question on native. This species is native. Oil palm species, or we can say that it is native to. ऐसा question था, right? They asked this moringa also. Okay, baobab tree, yes, baobab tree, that is native to, we can say, some of the African nations. At present it is largely endemic to Madagascar country, not Indonesia. This is incorrectly matched. Then eucalyptus, yes, it is native to Australia. This is correct. Moringa, it is native to India. This is correct. We can say 2 are correctly matched. So B is the correct answer. Okay, B is the correct answer. Next. Yes, now it is concept based question, ecological succession. Let's talk about that. As communities undergo transformation through ecological succession, there is broadening of ecological niche. Now, ecological niche is basically the functional role of any species in the ecosystem, functional role performed by. Now, as ecosystem develops or the succession happens from one community, let's say, to other communities, what happens is there is progressive development, and because of that, the ecological niche actually is narrowing down. It is narrowing down. That means the species are doing a specific function, not common function, and that's why there is not broadening, rather narrowing of, we can say, this term. Most of the students will miss this, and that's why you should be very carefully reading the statement twice. So this is incorrect, and I got the answer, that is D is the correct answer. Why? Species composition changes from simple or to complex. We can say that, and more stable communities during, this one is correct, we can say, this is incorrect. So D is the correct answer here. And the last question, very specific information, but yes, in such kind of question, I would say that you should mark all. Bio bricks. Okay, above mentioned materials are suitable for production of bio bricks that have potential to for carbon sequestration. So cooking oil, sugarcane bagasse, food industry waste fat, grain husk, all these can be used for manufacturing of bio bricks. Anything that is, we can say that the bio-friendly practices, eco-friendly practices, so they will be asked in your examination, that are the emerging technologies, we can say that, be it biofuels or be it, we can say that bio, let's say remediation techniques are there, or we can say that bio bricks here, or we can say that biomethanation, such kind of techniques they will ask. Okay, so all are there. D is the correct answer. Okay, so these are the environment related questions. The other sections will be continued by other faculties. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to the discussion of questions of AIPMT 4. So we'll be taking the discussion for the economy section. So before that, I just want to make an announcement that we have started the prelims test series. So this is the prelims test series, so as to make sure that we will cover most of the things which are important from the perspective of prelims, and it would include more than around about 61 tests, including the foundational part of different subjects which are important in prelims, as well as the current affairs part. And it would also include 14 tests of CSAT, because we know that CSAT is also very important. It has become a deciding factor whether you'll get good score or whether you'll get the qualifying names in the PDF or not. Then on top of it, we also have prelims guidance program. A new module is starting, the economy and the environment and ecology section, from 27th of January, sorry. So this would be a comprehensive preparation that would be backed up by class notes as well as in-house class discussions and MCQs practice, and we'll also back it up with various tests and self-assessment tests. So this is all about the prelims part. Then coming to the GS foundation, so GS paper 2 would be taken up by Ansari sir, and that would be from scratches till the advanced level, where you'll see that some of the questions are directly asked from the notes of Ansari sir. So that is what is all modeled about the GS2 preparation as far as foundation is concerned. So now we'll go to the discussion for the economy questions which were asked in AIPMT 4. So the first question appeared was question number 31. We'll see from that. So the first question is, the 31st question says, consider the following statements. So this is a new type of pattern. It had 3 statements, and there was a condition that two of the statements, the statement number 2 or statement number 3, could be explaining the first statement, or either of the statements could be explaining, or neither of them would be explaining. So based on that, we would have to apply our concepts and find out the correct answer. So the statement is, Zimbabwe launched the gold-backed new currency ZiG. So this is a news which was making rounds in 2024, said that Zimbabwe has launched its own currency, so which replaced the Zimbabwe dollar. So this is a correct statement, and we do not have to think about the statement 1 because it is a correct thing. There, as we can see, neither A, B, C nor D is talking about whether statement 1 is correct or not. So we have to take it by an implicit factor that the statement is correct, although this is a correct current affair news. So the reason first which has been given in the second statement is gold backed currency is likely to help arrest the depreciation of local currency and win people's trust as a store of value. So this statement is correct, and it is explaining as to why ZiG is gold backed. What happens that we have seen that Zimbabwe has seen hyperinflation, where the local population has lost the confidence in the currency, the store of value function of currency, whether they'll keep the currency with themselves, whether that would be in a position to redeem those currency in future date. So this was you can say hazy scenario. So they needed to come out with a newer currency which was gold backed to win the people's trust. This is correct. Third statement says the newer currency will assist in increasing the reliance on US dollars. So this is not increasing, this is decreasing or reducing the reliance, because whenever the local currency loses its trust, people switch to hard or fiat currency which are globally accepted. So what happened in Zimbabwe, that people started switching to using USD for local transactions. So that meant the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe needed to keep US dollars in good amount, and that meant holding cost as well as the cost of actually funding those transactions. So that is why the ZiG would ensure that there would be lower reliance on or lower dependence on the US dollar as a mean of transaction in the local economy. So the second statement, or the third statement itself, is incorrect. So which is the correct option? Only one of the statements, the C option, is correct. Only one of the statements 2 and 3 is correct, and that explains statement 1. That is, statement 2 is explaining statement 1. So C would be the correct answer for question number 1. Coming to the second question. Again, statement 1, statement 2, standard assertion reason. The Reserve Bank of India has been resisting rate cuts in the economy even after retail inflation within a comfortable range. So currently the retail inflation is around about 5%. Still the rate cuts have not been announced by the Reserve Bank. This is correct. But the explanation is RBI expects that the food inflation is still persistently high, which could derail the sustained price control. So this is the correct reason. It has been published in the minutes of Monetary Policy Committee that they feel that the food inflation may actually lead to spike in the retail inflation, and that is why they are playing a wait and watch game, and they are not reducing the policy repo rates. So both the statements are correct, and the statement 2 is explaining statement number 1. So talking about the 33rd question. So the two statements or the three statements which are given. The first statement says the government follows an open procurement policy. This is correct. For all the crops under MSP? No. Only limited crops. And those limited crops are generally wheat and rice. Open procurement policy means whatsoever is being, you can say, those farmers, they just bring those crops, whatsoever they have grown, to the mandis. The government is obligated to buy it in any quantities which have been actually brought to that particular mandi. That is open procurement policy, and that is only limited to rice and wheat. So this statement is incorrect. The fair and remunerative price is announced for sugarcane. This is correct. By CACP, this is also correct. Minimum selling price of sugar was introduced in 2018 to enable the sugar industry to clear the dues, to clear the cane prices dues of farmer. This is correct. So there's a concept of minimum selling price. So they introduced it in recent times, that whenever the sugar prices in the market, they have made sure that they'll keep us minimum selling price, so that those cane mill owners, whosoever is producing sugar, would get a fair and remunerative price for sugar. I'm not talking about the sugar cane. Sugar cane is all about sugar farmers, but sugar is all about the mill owners who are actually producing sugar. So that is minimum selling price. This statement is correct. Second and third statement are only correct. B is the correct answer. First is incorrect. 34th question. A nominal effective exchange rate reading above 100 signifies a stronger Indian rupees. This is correct. It means Indian INR is appreciated vis-a-vis a basket of 36 currencies. The nominal effective exchange rate is calculated over an index of 36 currencies. So this is correct. A real effective exchange rate or reading below 100 reduces export competitiveness. This is incorrect. Either if it is below 200, it signals improved trade competitiveness, or we can say if the reading is above 100, then it reduces the export competitiveness. So either or you could have said that. So only if one statement is correct, that is the first statement. A is the correct answer for question number 34. Coming to question number 35. So question number 35 says liquidity crisis. Obviously liquidity crisis means the demand for currency is more than the supply of currency, and that is talking about the debt. What happens that people start actually selling debt in return of rupees. So what happens that the debt prices actually go down, or the bond prices go down, and when the bond prices go down, the yields increase. Yields increase. What they feel that the market may be actually smelling on inflation in near term. So that is why they are selling the bond, they are going short, and that is why they'll start holding cash, and that increases liquidity crisis. So that may result in increased interest rate. This is correct, because what happens when bond prices go down, the yields increase, and if yields increase, the interest rate expectations in the market obviously is proportional to the yield, and that also may increase. This is correct. RBI may buy government securities in the market to resolve the liquidity crisis. This is correct. What would happen that the RBI would start buying bonds because people are not buying bonds, and if RBI starts buying bonds in the open market operations, the open market, the supply of currency would improve and the liquidity situation would improve, because buying of bonds would release liquidity in the market. So second statement is also correct. Both the statements are correct. C would be the correct answer. 36th. Consider the following statements about new economic policy of India launched in the year 1991. So its implementation led to removal of industrial licensing for most of the sectors. This is correct. So whatsoever was industrial licensing which was required for many of the sectors, that was brought down to only few sectors are remaining. So that is why this led to de-licensing process. The disinvestment of PSUs was embarked upon as a part of this policy. This is correct. It started in 1992 when I guess there was a disinvestment of more than 31 PSU, garnering more than 3,000 crores at that time. And in 2017, we reached up to 1 lakh crore of disinvestment. So that is how the disinvestment as a policy started with this policy. The Monopolies and Restrictive Trade Practices Act and 1969 was replaced with Competition Act as part of stabilization measure. So what happens? This is correct. This Competition Act replaced the MRTP Act, but that was a part of structural reform measure, not stabilization measure. Stabilization measure was all related to, we can say, those short-term measures to ensure that the macroeconomic stability is well maintained within controls, and long-term measures like any legislative changes, any next generation reforms was all about structural reform measures. So the statement becomes incorrect. Out of 3, 1 and 2 only are correct, or 2 statements are only correct. B would be the correct answer. For question number 36. Question number 37. Which one of the following describes the term front running? This was in news because of Ketan Parikh. Ketan Parikh and his associates have been banned again by SEBI because of certain manipulation in the stock market. And what is front running? Front running is a situation of buying a security based on unpublished information about a large transaction that could move prices. What happens if there is huge expectations of a particular bulk purchase or bulk selling in the stock markets? If you get first-hand information before that transaction happening, you will have a higher probability of gaining from the transaction because of huge dump in the prices, and that is an illegal way of transacting in the market, because you are playing in the market based on unpublished information, and that is not correct. That is known as front running. D is the correct answer for question number 37. Question number 38. So likely implications of inverted duty structure. What is inverted duty structure? Duties on finished goods is lower, but duties on raw material is higher. So what happens? That leads to locking of working capital, because those people who are dependent on refunds or input tax credit, their money gets locked, and that is why locking of working capital is one of the reasons, one of the implications of, one of the output or implication of the inverted duty structure. Second, more intense foreign competition for domestic manufacturers. This is also correct. What happens? That if the duties on imported items, because they are finished generally, they experience lower duty structure, and those domestic manufacturers, they'll be using raw materials. At that time, they'll be paying higher duties. So what would happen? Local manufacturing would lose out on the competitiveness if we compare it with respect to imports, and that is why domestic competitors, domestic market gets influenced by foreign competition because of inverted duty structure. Second is also correct. Cascading effects of taxation on tax. This is incorrect. Inverted duty structure or GST does not talk about anything because of cascading effect, because it inherently eliminates the taxation on tax. So the likely implications could be first and second only. B is the correct answer. So with reference to hallmarking by the Bureau of Indian Standards, BIS, consider the following statements. It is mandatory for gold as well as silver jewelry which are sold in India. This is incorrect. This is mandatory for gold jewelry up to a certain extent, that if the amount of, or the amount which is sold in the market is higher than a particular limits, then mandatory hallmarking is required. That is optional for silver. So the government is considering mandatory hallmarking even for silver. So this is incorrect. Although this is available, this hallmarking of silver is available, but that is not mandatory. It is mandatory for gold. Gold items below 2 grams weight are exempt from BIS hallmarking. This is correct. There are different exemption lists. You'll get to know about these things on various sites of Bureau of Indian Standards. So you'll get to know about these things. So one of them being, if the particular item which is being sold in the market, the gold item, is of weight which is fewer than 2 grams, then there won't be any mandatory exercise of hallmarking of that particular gold item. So this is how second statement is correct. B is the correct answer for question number 39. Question number 40. Which one of the following are the objectives of Pradhan Mantri Swasthya Suraksha Yojana? So Swasthya Suraksha Yojana talks about correcting the imbalance in the availability of tertiary healthcare. So tertiary healthcare, super specialty centers, specifically setting up of AIMS or nursing or colleges, the medical colleges, or talking about upgrading state government colleges or hospitals into super specialties hospitals. That is a part of Pradhan Mantri Swasthya Suraksha Yojana. But health availability of health and wellness center is Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. So this was a trick in that particular statement. So that should be tertiary health care. Wellness care is primary health care. So this is incorrect. Rest all are correct. 2, 3, 4 statements are correct. B would be the correct answer for question number 40. So coming to question number 86, with reference to total expense ratio, that is a term related to mutual fund investments, MF investments. So you need to know about certain terminologies of insurance or mutual fund investment or stock market trading and all these things, because they keep on asking some of those capital market terminologies. So it is charged by asset management companies, those which manage your portfolios, to manage the fund. This is correct. So whatsoever the fund that you have given in terms of even either lump sum payment or systematic investment plan, the asset management company would actually hire the services of fund managers, and they'll charge a specific fee for that. That is known as total expense ratio, that is dependent on the asset size. So if you have paid 1 lakh rupees, they'll say that 2% would be TER, and whatsoever would be the movement at the end of closing. And whatsoever is the asset value, whether it is in gain or it is in loss, they are not bothered about that. They'll charge you based on yearly rate of 2%. Suppose that is the TER. They are not tied with only gains. So that is why first is correct. If the returns generated by fund is negative, the TER is waived off. This is not there. Even if it is negative, they will debit that 2% or 2.5% whatsoever is the TER. That is independent of the movements of the stock market. So that is why second statement is incorrect. First is only correct. A would be the correct answer for question number 86. With reference to the standing deposit facility, consider the following statements. This tool has been introduced through an amendment to the RBI Act 1934. This is correct. It enables the RBI to absorb liquidity. This should be excess liquidity, obviously, from the economy without the use of collateral. This is why this has become a most preferred way of parking excess liquidity from the banks to RBI without using government securities as collateral you can say overshadowing that reverse repo mechanism. So the banks can deposit any amount, this is correct, with RBI at a rate which is lower than. Why would they pay more than repo rate? RBI has to pay to the bank, they'll pay lower than the repo rate but higher than the reverse repo rate. That is the condition. So that is why third statement is incorrect. First and second is only correct. How many of them? 2 only, or only 2 statements. B is the correct answer. Talking about the 88th question. So it talks about the APAR ID card. So it assigns a unique and permanent 12-digit ID to every student's, offering a comprehensive record of their academic achievement. This is correct. The enrollment under APAR is voluntary. This is correct. This has been specifically mentioned in one of the questions of Rajya Sabha that this is actually voluntary. However, there are various schools which are actually coercing parents to get their enrolled compulsorily in APAR. That is not correct as far as the vision of APAR is. That is, APAR is concerned. APAR is up till now voluntary. But however, this is a service that it is mandatory to have Aadhaar card to get registration under APAR. So that is why third statement is correct. So all the 3 statements are actually correct. So D would be the correct answer for question number 88. Question number 89 says, statement 1 says reducing government debt levels is more important than containing fiscal deficit. This is correct statement. Why? Because statement 2 says higher debt level shifts the burden of taxation on future generation. This is correct. What would happen that if the debt keep on accumulating, at some point the debt service obligation would be very high. That means payment of interest or the maturing principals, that would be very high, and the future government whosoever faces that would be actually forced to increase the tax, to increase tax collection to pay those debts. That is why the shift, because of higher debt levels, the burden shifts to future generation of higher taxation probability. Third statement says that why this is more important, because faster tapering of fiscal deficit can reduce capital formation in the economy. This statement is also correct, and explaining statement number 1, because what would happen if we start reducing fiscal deficits? We know that fiscal deficits have 2 components. Either it could be capital account deficits or it could be revenue deficits. So in revenue deficits are generally committed in nature. You cannot reduce salaries, you cannot reduce pensions or defense expenditure. It is most likely those capital formation like expenditure by government on creating infrastructure or social sectors that would be seeing any cut. So that means if there is higher fiscal deficit, the government is most likely to increase capital expenditure. And if there is lower fiscal deficit, it is most likely that the government may start reducing their capital expenditure. Ideally, they should reduce revenue expenditure, but that happens that in an economy that does not happen rationally. Government most likely reduces the capital expenditure, and we are experiencing this thing in the current financial year 25 also. The capital expenditure is expected to be less than what was budgeted in the budget 24-25. So both the statements are correct, and both the statement 2 and 3 are together explaining the statement 1. One is why it is more important and why fiscal deficit faster tapering would be detrimental for the economy from the perspective of capital formation in the economy. The last question which was asked was a simpler question from the economy section. The consumer confidence survey is brought out by the Reserve Bank of India. So this was all about the discussions and the questions regarding the economy sections. Thank you. So welcome to the discussion of the current affairs section of the AIPMT-IV. Quickly we'll see the questions which were asked in this particular test, and we'll see the explanation to those questions. So the first question which was asked from the current affair was question number 51, that says, with reference to the Neelkurinji species of flowering shrubs, consider the following statements. This is a news that in 2026 they are expected to again blossom. That happens over a cycle of 12 years. So that is why it was in news, and also recently they have been accounted into the IUCN Red Data Book. So that was why this question was put up. So these species are known for massive blooming after every 12 years. This is correct. It is found in the Shola forest of the Western Ghats in Kerala, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. This is also correct. On the western flank, the latest global assessment confirms its threatened status in the vulnerable category of the IUCN. This is correct. All the three statements are correct. D would be the correct answer for this question. Consider the following statements about the exercise Tarang Shakti. So it is inspired from the red flag exercise which is hosted by the US. This is correct. It is multilateral exercise, combat exercise, wherein the air forces of different countries, they collaborate and learn about the interoperability. So it is aimed at testing Indian Air Force capability and preparedness for high intensity operation. This is incorrect. This is all about learning from other air forces and knowing about the interoperability and cooperation. So this high intensity operation is another, that is Gagan Shakti. This is Tarang Shakti. So this is only first statement is only correct. A would be the correct answer. 53rd question talks about the term mule bank accounts. So mule bank account facilitates illegal transaction by receiving and transferring funds from unlawful activity. It could be hawala, it could be illicit drug trafficking amount, by using accounts of various people who are innocent and are digitally illiterate. So they do not know that their accounts are being used for these activities, and that is why there have been cases of digital arrests. Also, people have been unknowingly, they have been actually being victims of digital arrest. So this is mule accounts, and this was all in news because there is one AI, the Mule Hunter AI, which has been brought out by the Reserve Bank of India to target those mule accounts. So A is the correct answer. 54th question talks about the Bima Sakhi Yojana, which was recently launched by the Government of India. So it is an initiative of the Life Insurance Corporation of India to empower women aged 18 to 70 years who are class 10th pass. This is correct. They will receive a specialized training and a stipend for the first 3 years to promote financial literacy and insurance awareness. This is also correct. Graduate, those who are graduate Bima Sakhis would be having the opportunity to qualify for being considered. They are not recruited as development officers. They would be considered for the post of development officers in LIC. This is also correct. All the three statements are correct. C would be the correct answer for question number 54. So it is a spiritual practice in Hinduism followed during the Kumbh Mela. It is highlighted in several ancient texts, including the Mahabharata and Ramcharitmanas. It represents a period of self-purification and spiritual discipline during which devotees engage in intense ritual and devotion. Which of the following practices is being considered in the above paragraph? It is Kalpavas. B is the correct answer. This was in news because of the Kumbh Mela. 56th question talks about the Peace Building Commission. India has consistently been the member of Peace Building Commission, that is of United Nations. So it is an intergovernmental advisory body that supports peace efforts in conflict affected countries. This is correct. The peacekeeping force, that is how they get this name. The Peace Building Commission is composed of 31 member states. This is correct, and elected from the General Assembly. This is also correct. The Security Council, this is also correct, but Trusteeship Council, this is non-existent or dormant in stage. So that is why Trusteeship Council does not have any role in electing the members of the Peace Building Commission. That is why this statement becomes incorrect. India has been a member of the PBC since its inception because India has been in terms of the contributor or the largest number of battalions, India has been consistently faring very high in terms of people who are in terms of the trained personnel and soldiers who are serving in that commission. or serving in that peacekeeping forces. So that is why third is also correct. First and third statements are correct. C would be the correct answer. 57th question, missiles and types. This is more GK based question. Astra is air to air missile. Trishul is surface to air missile. So this is incorrect, this is incorrect. Agni is surface to surface, this is correctly matched. And Amogha is anti-tank missile, this is incorrect. So first, second and fourth are incorrect, only one pair is correct. A would be the correct answer for question number 57. Coming to question number 58, it talks about naphthromycin. So this is India's first indigenous macrolide antibiotic. This is correct as a way to treat bacteria. And it has been developed by the Serum Institute of India. This is incorrect. So first is only correct. Serum Institute of India generally only develop vaccines, not drugs. So first is only correct. A is the correct answer. 59th, the Swiss peace process is all about making sure that there is a truce between Russia and Ukraine. So that is why one of the countries involved is Ukraine. 59, D is the correct answer. Talking about the 60th question. So awards and prizes. Fields medal is for mathematics, not for physics. So that is why this is incorrect. Pulitzer is for mass communication and journalism. This is also incorrect. Wolf Award is for science discipline generally. So this is also incorrect. All the three are incorrect. So how many of them are correctly matched? None. So talks about the new driving license rules 2024. So the applicants can take a driving test at accredited private driving schools also. So they have been allowed, not only the government approved the RTO approved driving schools or the government run driving schools, even the private entities which can get the licenses of opening the driving schools, and applicants can also get themselves tested at that particular locations also. So first is correct. Driving training centers are required to have a minimum of 2 acres. 20 acres is very huge number. 2 acres of land, that is the criteria. So that is why this is factual but incorrect statement. The trainers must have a minimum of 3 years of driving experience and a compulsory knowledge about biometrics and IT system. This is correct. So out of the 3 statements, 2 are only correct. B is the correct answer for question number 96. So it is a Nishi tribe is a scheduled tribe that is native to eastern Bhutan and Arunachal Pradesh. They are the largest tribes of Arunachal Pradesh. This is correct. The society of this tribe is patrilineal in nature. So this is also correct. Both the statements are correct. C is the correct answer for question number 97. Coming to question number 98. So with reference to the Artemis Accord, so consider the following statements. It was established by the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA. This is correct. It sets out common principles for safe exploration of the moon and eventually extending its reach to Mars. This is also correct. India is one of the founding members. No, India is a member but not one of the founding members. So India is although the member of this particular Artemis Accord but not the founding member of this particular accord. So that is why the third statement is incorrect. First and second is only correct. A would be the correct answer. Question number 99th. Which of the following best describes the primary purpose of tariff rate quota? So the idea is to allow exports at relatively low duties within a certain limits for specified commodities. So what happens that if there is a specific quota, there are certain products where certain exemptions are given which are fixed for specific products only. That is tariff rate quota. The last question which was asked in this test, also in the current affair part, also the 100th question. So consider the following statements about the Kawasaki disease. So the Kawasaki disease it is an autoimmune disease that predominantly affects children under the age of 5 years. This is correct. It is characterized by inflammation of the coronary artery. those artery which supplies blood to heart. So that is why this is not related to nerves or brains. So that is why this is incorrect. Only the first statement is correct. A would be the correct answer for question number 100. So this was all about the questions which were asked in this particular test. Again, talking about the test that we have launched, that is Tucker test, the year-long test series for assessment about the prelims part. It has 4 phases. It is prelims, mains, then interviews also. So we will make sure that we are holding your hand till you clear the examination. And there is also crash course on public administration by Ansari sir. So this is all about the admissions are open. You can contact the reception. So this is all about the current affair discussion. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Now let us begin the discussion for Polity section in AIPMT 4 for CSE 2025 that is conducted today, right? So let us begin with our question number 11 in the test paper. Consider the following government bodies: Inland Waterways Authority of India, Central Groundwater Authority, Central Water Commission, National Mission for Clean Ganga, National Water Development Agency. How many of the above are statutory organizations? Now, UPSC has been asking questions about the constitutional body and statutory bodies. Right. We also know that there are certain bodies which are non-constitutional and non-statutory bodies, and which are executive in nature, created by executive order, right? So all of these are what we say are created either statutory or as a statutory body or by an executive order, right? So here the first one, the Inland Waterways Authority of India is a statutory body created under the Act Inland Waterways Authority India Act 1985, right? And Central Groundwater Authority is also a statutory authority which is created under Environment Protection Act, right? Now, Central Water Commission, National Mission for Clean Ganga and National Water Development Agency. These three bodies are created by an executive order. They are non-statutory and non-constitutional bodies, and they all have their different functions. Specific these two, National Mission for Clean Ganga and National Water Development Agency, these two are registered as under the Societies Registration Act 1860 as a registered society, right? Central Water Commission is an executive body. The question says how many of the above are statutory authorities? So only 2 of them are statutory authorities, and the right answer is option B. Option A, only 2. The right answer is option A, only 2, right? Next. Consider the following statements and how many of them are correct, right? The national anthem is played before and after the president's address in the parliament. The same practice is followed in state legislatures of all states for the governor's address, right? So first statement is correct. The national anthem is played before and after the president's address to the parliament when there is a first session of newly constituted Lok Sabha, what we say, budget session, right? And when the assembly reassembles for the first time, right? Now, the same practice is followed in state legislatures is a very generalistic statement which means for all the states. No, this is not true. This is there was a recent debate last month where we have seen the issue of Tamil Nadu, right? So the same practice is not followed to play the national anthem before and after the governor's address. Some states follow their own conventions, like playing the state song or state anthem before the address and the national anthem after the address. Some states did not had that practice of playing national anthem until 2018. Tripura started it in 2018, right? And Nagaland started it in 2021. Right. Tamil Nadu started this convention of playing the state song before the governor's address and the national anthem after the governor's address in 1991. And the convention is followed till date. Right. So these are the trivial facts which you may not know, but you should be knowing that the same practice is not followed across all the states. Second statement is incorrect. The right answer is A, one only, right? Next question. Consider the following statements in the context of Niti Aayog. It aims to foster competitive federalism by creating indices and rankings of the states. Yes, we know that Niti Aayog comes with indices and rankings. There are many. We have SEQI, the School Education Quality Index in the field of education. We have District Hospital Index in the field of health sector. We have Export Preparedness Index. We have Global Innovation Index as well as India Innovation Index, which is given by Niti Aayog. Similarly, we also have that Multi-Dimensional Poverty Index. So we know that through these indices, Niti Aayog is trying to rank the states or districts according to their cleanliness, according to their health infrastructure, or according to their preparedness for the export, how ready they are, how better linked they are with global platforms, right? So what are they doing? They are trying to improve the competition among the districts and states so as they start performing better, right? So Niti Aayog comes with different indices to boost the competitive federalism or to foster the competitive federalism. First statement is correct. Second one is, it possesses authority and enforcement powers for fiscal transfer to states to implement the suggestions made. No, that authority lies in the hands of Finance Commission. Right. So they do not have that enforcement powers to transfer the funds to any district or a state so as they can implement the right strategies in various sectors, be it education or be it health or other sectors, right? So second statement is incorrect. The right option again in this question is answer A, one only. Right. Next question. Consider the following statements. The Lieutenant Governor of Delhi has the authority to nominate aldermen to the Municipal Corporation of Delhi without the aid and advice of the Delhi government. Now, what is alderman, what is its roles? You should know about it. And this has been the recent issue in the recent past, right? The issue of aldermen in Delhi municipal elections. Yes, the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi has that authority to nominate the aldermen without the aid and advice, correct? So first statement is correct. The Constitution of India empowers LG of Delhi to nominate aldermen. This statement is incorrect. The Constitution does not empower the LG, right? Rather, there are other things like Delhi Municipal Corporation Act 1957. Delhi Municipal Corporation Act 1957, which empowers the Lieutenant Governor to nominate the aldermen. And this stand has been reinforced in a judgment by the Supreme Court that was State of and City of Delhi versus Union of India and others in the year 2023. Right. So in this particular question, we have first statement as correct and second as incorrect. The right answer is C, option C. Next, consider the following statements regarding the Law Commission of India. It is neither a statutory body nor a constitutional body. It serves as an advisory body to Ministry of Law and Justice. It is reconstituted every 5 years. First statement is correct. It is neither a statutory body nor a constitutional body. Rather, it is an ad hoc executive body which is tasked with advising, giving suggestions, giving recommendations to Ministry of Law and Justice to come up with legal reforms or modernization of laws. We have seen time and again how the Law Commission comes up with the suggestions, be it related to the coming up with 3 criminal laws, or about the electoral bonds, or about implementation of UCC, Universal Civil Code. So there are various issues on which the Law Commission can come up with suggestions. Right. So it is an ad hoc executive body and it is an advisory body to Ministry of Law and Justice. Both these statements are correct. It is reconstituted every 5 years. No, it is reconstituted every 3 years. Right. So only 2 statements are correct. The option is, the right answer is option B, only 2. Right. Next. Which one of the following bodies is responsible for conducting the national exit test? So we have seen this issue particularly when it comes to the education in the medical sciences in India, and we know that this test is conducted by any of the organizations associated with the medical studies, medicine studies, studying medicine in India, right? So we know Medical Council of India does not exist as on date. It has been replaced by National Medical Commission. Correct? NTA, National Testing Agency, it conducts various tests for various enrollments in the UG courses and PG courses and still others, right? All India Institute of Medical Sciences. So in this particular thing, in this particular question, it is very much of your awareness with the current affairs, and this particularly tests your knowledge, how sharp eye you have when it comes to current affairs, right? Now, the answer to this question is option C, National Medical Commission. National Medical Commission conducts the exam national exit test. Next. Simple question, just you need to be aware with the current affairs. If you have marked the answer as A, Medical Council of India, then perhaps you need to rethink about your strategies. That particular organization does not exist. It was replaced by National Medical Commission, right? Next. Consider the following. 1, 2, 3. Which of the above are functions of the departmentally related standing committees, DRSCs? Time and again, question has been from this segment. First one is scrutinizing the bills assigned by the Speaker of the Lok Sabha or the Chairman of the Rajya Sabha. So are we sure whether the Chairman of the Rajya Sabha can, assign a task of scrutinizing any bill? Right. Yes, it can. Second one is evaluating the matters related to routine administrative functions of ministers, of ministries or departments. No, the departmentally related standing committees do not look into the day-to-day administration or functioning of ministries and departments, right? Their main task is about assessing, scrutinizing, evaluating the bills, the expenditures of various ministries and departments. Next, evaluating annual reports submitted by various ministries, assessing the long-term policy frameworks and strategic documents, especially related to national security, law, and education and health, right? So only 1, 3, and 4, only 3 statements are correct. Second statement is incorrect. So the right answer would be 1, 3, and 4. The right answer is option D. 1, 3, and 4 only, right? Next question. The National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, NCPCR, can inquire into complaints and take suo motu action on matters relating to deprivation and violation of child rights, non-implementation of laws providing for protection and development of children, non-compliance with policy decisions, guidelines, or instructions aimed at mitigating hardships, right? So we need to know what all are the areas where NCPCR can take suo motu cognizance or suo motu notice regarding any issues, right? So the answer to this particular question is all 3. In all the 3 mentioned instances, right, the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights can take a suo motu cognizance and issue a notice, can inquire into it, can seek the inputs from the implementing agencies, right? Implementing agencies of policy or the laws or the schemes, anything, right? The right answer to this particular question is C, all 3. Correct? Right. Next. Consider the following statements. The Indian Constitution designates Hindi, written in Devanagari script, as the official language of the Union of India. Constitution under Article 343. Says so. Yes, the Indian Constitution designates Hindi as the official language of the Union of India. The question says Union of India, not the Supreme Court or the High Court. Right. Second, the Indian Constitution directs the Union government to actively promote the spread and development of Hindi language. Constitution under Article 351, Part 17 and Part 17 and Article 351. Just be sure that this is one of the fundamental duties. This is not one among the fundamental duties and not one among the directive principles. People might confuse that when there are initiatives to promote the use of Hindi language by the Union, it has some constitutional basis. Yes, there is a constitutional basis, but the constitutional basis lies in Part 17 and Article 351, not in fundamental duties, not in directive principles. Right, third statement. The Official Languages Act of 1963 enforces the accountability among government officials for non-compliance with the mandated use of Hindi in the official communication. This particular statement is incorrect because once they are not using Hindi in their official communication, the particular office or the particular government employee, government servant is not held accountable, is not what we say, cannot be penalized for not using Hindi language, right? So there is no explicit mention of penalization. Why penalization? Because we are talking about enforces accountability, right? If you are not doing so, then what could be the punishments that you can face? So there is no such provision. Statement 3 is incorrect. 1 and 2 are correct. The right answer is option A, 1 and 2 only. Right. Next. The objective of Operation Chakra 2, launched by the Central Bureau of Investigation, is to, now, once you are updated with the current affairs of past few months, you must be knowing this answer. Very simple. Address domestic tax evasion, incorrect. Regulate and prevent unlawful transactions on cryptocurrency exchanges, incorrect. Strengthen the cyber security infrastructure for government institutions, incorrect. The right answer is about cyber financial crimes, which can be transnational. Though intranational, but they can be transnational. So their task was to counter those kind of cyber crimes. They have also launched initiatives. They have also raided at certain establishments. And it was very much in news about the Chakra 2. Simple question. Next. Which one of the following statements best describes the term secularism in context of India? Simple, political theory, conceptual question, and we have seen that UPSC has recently developed this habit of asking 1 or 2 conceptual political theory questions. Right, though they seem simple, but we have seen students making a mistake in those kind of questions. Right, let us see all the statements one by one. The strict separation between the state and religion, wherein the government operates free from any religious influences in its affairs. Though seems correct. Let us see other statements also. The state upholds a stance of neutrality by treating all religions impartially, neither favoring nor opposing any, while safeguarding the universal right to freedom of religion. Third, the government actively endorses all religions equally, permitting their participation in the governance and public affairs of the nation. Fourth, a governance model wherein the state prioritizes the majority religion while ensuring that the rights and freedoms of minority religions are adequately protected. So, the question is in context of India, and option B seems to be more appropriate. Impartial, neither favor nor opposing. These things remain same. Stance of neutrality, right? Principled distance approach. In all the religions, right? They can extend what we say the benefits, not exactly the benefits, they can extend the provisions of providing law, order, security mechanisms, or the easy access to religious pilgrimages. Recently we have been seeing, in the past also, we have seen that government provides certain concessions on religious pilgrimages, right? So that is a stance of neutrality wherein all religions, all religious groups get those kind of help and assistance from the state. It is not strictly separated in India, right? The right answer is option B. Which one of the following best describes the Indian Constitution as a living document? Simple question. Let us see the statements. It permits ongoing reinterpretation by state legislatures. Only the Supreme Court of India has got that power of reinterpretation or interpretation of the constitutional provisions, right? Even though the parliament can do so, but it is reflected in by the way of amendments, by making amendments in the constitution. Supreme Court's interpretation of the constitution may or may not lead to the amendment of the constitution by the union legislature or the parliament, right? Second, it embeds stringent checks and balances to ensure that amendments cannot proceed without judicial endorsement or oversight. Basically, it means that basic structure doctrine, you cannot make amendments, thereby distorting the basic structure of the constitution. That is not so. But this is not the reflection of the living document. It mandates a rigid adherence to literal interpretation. We have come a long way since Shankari Prasad and Golaknath cases. So this statement is also incorrect. Last, it demonstrates flexibility by accommodating changing social, economic, and political dynamics. That is what a living document says. Our constitution is a living document because it has got provisions of amending itself according to the needs, demands, and requirements of a particular time, of a particular society which is ever evolving. So, right, I believe that this particular statement will make more sense when you are going to read all of these statements. Right. So the right answer for question 77, the Constitution as a living document, is option D. Correct. Next. Consider the following statements regarding Digital Bharat Nidhi (DBN) fund. Very simple question, directly from the current affairs and about the nuances of any new initiative. First one, it aims to replace the Universal Service Obligation Fund. Correct. The funds are first credited to the Consolidated Fund of India before allocation. The funds are contributed by the telecom service providers. To the Consolidated Fund of India, and then later it is disbursed. It offers subsidies for smartphone purchases to promote digital literacy and empower girls through increased access to technology. It is half correct. It tries to provide mechanisms to empower girls, to empower vulnerable sections of the society which are still backward, but subsidies is not part of it. Right answer is only 2, option B. Right, next. Which of the following articles is related to martial law in India? Now, this is to just test your basic level reading and understanding and recall power. You all have read the bare act of the Constitution of India. If not the act, at least I would like to presume that you have read at least the index, right? UPSC has been asking questions about the parts, about the articles and how they are related to each other. Time and again we have seen questions on the emergency, the national emergency or the president's rule and similar questions, somewhat related to it, but the basic intent was to test your knowledge regarding the articles of the Constitution, right? The right answer is option D, Article 34 talks about it. Simple question. Next. So Yes, this is the last question. Which of the following schedules of the Constitution of India deals with the allocation of seats in the Rajya Sabha to the states and union territories? I simply say this is the simplest question in the whole question paper so far that we have read. As far as polity section is concerned, you all are familiar with the parts of the Constitution as well as schedules of the Constitution, and you should be aware. You should not make incorrect choices in such kind of questions. These are the brownie points, right? Simple question. This was question 80S. We have so far discussed almost all the questions of the polity section in AIPMT 4 GS paper. Now that we are done with AIPMT papers and only Pansutra papers are left, the 5 All India mock tests, please, if you still have any doubts regarding the basic concepts, if you are still facing issues with selecting the right options in the question paper, even when you know the right answer, you are making mistakes. It may be for various reasons, either the conceptual clarity or haphazard reading or not very sure. There are various reasons. Please, now is the time that you start focusing in the dedicated revision as well as updation of your knowledge that you have gathered over the years or months of your journey, right? So, thank you for joining the AIPMT 4 discussion for polity section, and wish you luck for the upcoming tests as well as your prelims examination 2025. Just in case you want to have any word with me or any other faculty regarding any subject, regarding any strategy, feel free to contact the front office, and we will be more than glad to help you in all your preparation strategies as well as academic related doubts and concerns, right? Good luck to you and thank you.
Hello dear students, I am R.S. Chauhan. I am going to discuss the 15 questions in your AIPMT 4 question paper of General Studies paper 1, question number 1 to 10 and question number 71 to 75. So let us start. The first question is giving us some statements about the Chera dynasty, and we have to identify whether which of these statements are correct. So with reference to the administration of Chera dynasty, consider the following statements. So I will give my conclusion while reading the sentence itself. So Chera dynasty was known for its decentralized administration with power being shared among the local chieftains and rules. Yes, the Sangam literature provides us that kind of information. This is correct. The Ayagar system operated in each village of the Chera kingdom, which assisted in resolving local issues. The name of the system was not Ayagar system. There were such bodies or assemblies which used to do this in the form of panchayats. They were called Manaram. The Ayagar system is the system which was prevalent during the Vijayanagar Empire, right? So for more details, you can always refer handouts. So this statement becomes wrong. Third statement is Silpadikaram. It is one of the epics of the belonging to Sangam literature. Mentions the king's council and the 5 assemblies in the administration of the Chera dynasty. This statement is also correct. So statement 1 and 3 are correct. The answer is C for question number 1. So it means the Chera kingdom was divided into many divisions, and these divisions were handled by different kind of what you can say local chieftains, and the king was having a decentralized system of administration where these chieftains are helping them, as well as there are 5 assemblies to assist him in the matters of administration, right? In the second question, there are what you can say 2 columns or pairs given, and you have to identify how many of these are correctly matched. So 3 pairs are given. Let us see. Swastik. Swastik is a symbol which is used in Jainism and Indic religions. In Vedic tradition also it is used significantly. Swastik signifies peace and well-being of humans, not pure soul of Tirthankar. For that, the word Shrivats is used. So these are wrongly matched. This should be the what you can say matching. So these are not correctly matched. Meena Yugal. Meena means fish. Yugal means couple or pair. Meena Yugal signifies increase in wealth, due and merit. No, this is not correct. It signifies what you can say. This is called the Vardhaman Vardhamanak. Vardhamanak is a term used among the what you can say Ashtamangala, 8 auspicious symbols of Jainism. Meena Yugal represents what you can say controlling of, in a way, sexual urges, conquest of sexual urges. In Jainism, you have to exercise self-control or control over your senses. One of them is Meena Yugal, right? So this is also not correctly matched. This stands for Vardhamanak, right? So there are 8 important, what we can say, auspicious symbols called Ashtamangal in Jainism, and Swastik, Shrivast, Meena Yugal are 3 of them. The other ones are Nandavarth, Bhadrashan, Darpan, Vardhamanak and Kalash. You can have the details in your handouts, right? There are 3 important jewels or 3 Ratnatraya which guides the life of Jainas, which is Samyak Darshan or right belief, Samyak Gyan or right knowledge, Samyak Charit or right what you can say conduct. Besides that, a follower of Jainism has to follow 5 doctrines called Panch Mahavartas. You would have definitely heard about them. They are very popular: Ahimsa, Satya, Aparigraha, Asteya and Brahmacharya. The last one was added by Mahavir Jain. The first 4 were presented by Parshvanath, the 23rd Tirthankar among the 24, among the Jainas. Now, so what would be the answer? The answer would be none. None of them are correctly matched for question number 2. Now, we go to question number 3. The third question is asking you to consider the 2 statements given below with respect to the World Heritage Committee. World Heritage Committee is a committee which which focuses on declaring particular sites as World Heritage Sites and their maintenance on all other aspects. It has what you can say an annual meeting every year, and it has the presiding members vote, the member states vote through what you can say democratic system, and here then decisions are taken. It is part of or it is managed by UNESCO. So India is a permanent member of the World Heritage Committee. This is wrong. India is a member from 2021 to what you can say 25, right? This is not factually correct. India can be permanent member of UNESCO, but there are X number of members which are appointed for a period of time. So India is there on the World Heritage Committee from 2021 to 25. It will be replaced by some other country in future after 2025, right? Second, the logo of 46th World Heritage Committee meeting. It was organized in July 2024. And India was the host, is inspired by the 13th century Sun Temple at Konark. It is presented in Odisha. No, it was not the logo. The logo was inspired by the temple complex of Hampi, which belonged to the Vijayanagar Empire. Hampi is a World Heritage Site. So, and the stone chariot from the Vijay Vitthal temple is a major symbol used over here. So this is also wrong. So which of the statements are correct? We will say neither 1 nor 2. D is the answer for question number 3. As far as question number 4 is concerned, it is related to medieval Indian history. It is talking about with reference to the Indo-Islamic architecture. So during medieval period, the elements of Indian style of architecture and Islamic architecture were mixed, and a new style developed, which we call Indo-Islamic architecture. So with reference to Indo-Islamic architecture, so Delhi Sultanate and Mughal period is known for that. Seljuk style of architecture has been established by which of the following? Seljuk was empire which existed during medieval times, right from Turkey up to Central Asia, and because many of the rulers of Delhi Sultanate were of Turkish origin, they brought those elements with them. And most prominent feature was arcuate style. That is, arcuate means arc, means bow-shaped design was there on the entrances and other places used, right? So this was done by Khalji dynasty. The Khaljis were one of the dynasties that ruled during the Delhi Sultanate. So it was the second dynasty. It ruled from 1290 AD to 1320 AD. Alauddin Khilji is the most well-known and ill-famous name among them, right? Now, in the fifth question, this dance style is a manifestation of the earthly elements in the human body. The performance has solo elements. There are group elements also, solo elements also, as manduk. Manduk means mendak, frog. Shabdam, tarangam, and jalachitra nrityam. So this is a statement given. Which of the following classical dance forms is being described in the above paragraph? So Manipuri is known for group dance, Krishna and gopis being the main theme. Bharatnatyam is solo performance only. Kuchipudi has got solo and group performance also, where these three important elements are there: Manduk, Shabdam, Tarangam, and Jalachitra Nrityam. So Kuchipudi is the dance. It is a classical dance form that comes from Andhra Pradesh. Kathakali is from Kerala. So when we take a look at this particular dance style, you will find Manduk Shabdam is it is telling the story of a frog. Tarangam is about performing a dance in which the dancer stands on a brass plate and tries to balance himself or herself by having pots or on head or diyas in hands. Jalachitra Nrityam is an item in dance performance in Kuchipudi classical dance form, where the dancer draws picture while performing the dance by using his or her toes, right? So it is basically a dance drama. Now, when we go to the sixth question, with reference to the coins of various dynasties in ancient India. So they are talking about ancient Indian dynasties. Consider the following statements. Three statements are given and we have to see which is the right option with respect to these statements. Arthashastra, written by Kautilya or Chanakya, mentioned the minting of punch-marked coins. Punch-marked coins we get for the first time during the time of modern period in abundance. These were not standardized coins, but coins made from metal pieces with some images punched on them of animals, birds, or forms of nature like sun, moon, all these things. So, Arthashastra mentioned the minting of punch-marked coins as Rupya Rupa, Suvarna Rupa, Tamra Rupa, and Shishar Rupa. Shisha Rupa during the Mauryan Empire. This is correct. Kautilya has mentioned this kind of coins. Rupya Rupa is silver coin. Suvarna means gold. It is a gold coin, punch-marked coin. Tamra Rupa, Tamra means tamba or copper. And Shishar Rupa is lead, plumbum. So these four types of coins are definitely mentioned. So this is true. Coins of the Greek kings. Greek kings were the first to introduce Indo-Greek kings, standardized forms of coins in India in post-modern period. So coins of Greek kings in India were bilingual, they were having scripts in two languages, written in Greek on front side and Pali language on the back side. This is true. Menander became a follower of Buddhism under the influence of Nagashen, and Greek was used with his torso being printed on one side and Pali on the other side with image of Buddha or something like that. Right. Third, Satvana's kings mostly used coins made of an alloy of lead and copper. Lead and copper mixed together, they say it was called potin. Satvana's used lead and copper mixed coins called Portin coins, but they were not mostly used. Most of the coins of Satavahanas are not very beautiful, but they give some information about Satavahana dynasty. They are made from lead. So this statement becomes, there is a minor mistake, this becomes wrong. So answer would be A for question number 6. 1 and 2 statements are correct, and third one is wrong. When we go to the next question, that is question number 7. It is a simple question with reference to the medieval India. Huzur Daftar means the officer, the office of the prime minister was called Huzur Daftar, that is Peshwa. Refers to landowner during the Sultanate period, central ministry of the Peshwas, office in charge of the royal court during Mughal period, head of a province during the Sultanate period. So answer is this. It was like a central secretariat of the prime minister of the Peshwa, and first it was established by Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj in 1674 AD, the great Maratha king, right? And he was also the founder of Ashtapradhan, the council of 8 ministers, who used to assist the king, that is Shivaji Maharaj, in his administration, right? Now, 8th question, with reference to Sher Shah Suri. Sher Shah Suri was a ruler who ruled for a brief period from 1540 to 1545 AD after replacing Humayun. Within that short period of time, he was able to lay down the foundation of great administration and did many public works. He is remembered for that. And it was on the premises of his administration that Akbar developed his administration. That way Sher Shah's contribution is very important in the medieval Indian history. So with reference to Sher Shah Suri, consider the following statements. Due to this reason, even though he was arch rival, Humayun referred to him as Ustade Badshah, a teacher of kings. That's true. He is credited for the introduction of customs duties. For the first time, custom duty, this concept was introduced by Sher Shah Suri, levied on goods twice at the place of entry and the time of sale. This is true. This way he reduced the burden on the traders, and it helped in facilitating trade and commerce and therefore economic development. He was the one who, there were otherwise customs duties people were paying in different parts of the empire, and it was a unwanted cost or burden on the traders, and that will discourage trade. So he identified this weakness and overcome it through introduction of custom duties, which was to be paid at 2 places, place of entry in his kingdom, and then when the good is sold to somebody. So which of the statements given above are correct? We will say C is the answer, both 1 and 2 for question number 8, right? In the 9th question, it is based on the pattern which has been introduced recently in 2024 question papers. There are 3 columns, information is given, you have to identify, there are 3 columns and 3 rows. In which of the above rows is the given information correctly matched? Let us see. John Shore was the, Governor General from 1793 to 98. He is remembered as the, architect of permanent settlement. It was his brainchild. It was his successor Cornwallis was the person who implemented permanent settlement or Jamindari system in Bengal. It was during his time that Charter Act of 1793 was passed. That's true. Battle of Kharda or Kurla was fought between Nizam and Marathas in 1795 AD, and Nizam was defeated by the Marathas. So this is correctly matched information. William Bentinck was there as Governor General, and he became the first Governor General of India. 1828 to 35 is his tenure in India, and he became so under the Charter Act of 1833, and he is also remembered for passing a regulation which led to the abolition of sati in 1829, in which Raja Ram Mohan Roy played a very important role. That way this information is also correctly matched in all the 3 columns given in second row. Now, Lord Lytton, his time period is 1876 to 80. He was the predecessor of Ripon. It was during his time that Vernacular Press Act was passed, Arms Act was passed in 1878, many acts, and he was, due to those acts were called reactionary viceroy. So this information is correct. But setting up of Durand Commission was not established during his time. Durand Commission was established much later in 1893 AD. And that is the time when Lord Lansdowne was the viceroy, Lord Lansdowne was not only the viceroy, but also he appointed the Durand line, Durand Commission, which demarcated Durand line, the line between India and Afghanistan then, which is now a border between Afghanistan and what you can say Pakistan today, and it is a bone of contention between the two because Afghanistan does not recognize that as the final border between it and Pakistan. Right. So, what would be the answer? This is wrong. 1 and 2 are correct. Answer should be A for question number 9. As far as question number 10 is concerned, here is used the word Indian sociologist. Indian sociologist was a journal published by Shyamji Krishna Verma. It was started in 1905 in London. It was a mouthpiece for nationalist revolutionaries in London because he was a revolutionary leader who organized youngsters over there to fight for the cause of India, especially self-rule in India. It was influenced by which of the following personalities? 4 personalities have been mentioned. Joseph Mazzini was a revolutionary who was an important personality associated with unification of Italy. J.S. Mill was a utilitarian. Leo Tolstoy is an important figure from Russia. Herbert Spencer was a psychologist, biologist, anthropologist, sociologist, and philosopher. He, under the influence of Charles Darwin's theory of natural selection, gave the concept of survival of fittest, right? And it is him who influenced Shyamji Krishna Verma and writings in the journal Indian Sociologist. So A is the answer for question number 10. Now we go to the next question, 75th question, 71st question, sorry. In question number 71, there are statements given related to Anglo-Maratha wars. Three Anglo-Maratha wars were fought. 1772 85 first, 1803 to 1805 second Anglo-Maratha war, and 1817 to 1818 third Anglo-Maratha war. So with reference to Anglo-Maratha wars, consider the following statements. During the first Anglo-Maratha war, Marathas utilized a scorched earth policy, the policy of countering the enemy by cutting the supplies or putting a cease to his efforts. You sometimes even burn down the crops so that the enemy does not have access to food grains, and that created difficulties for his army. This was done by the Marathas to the British and forced them to retreat or withdraw. And this was more visible in Battle of Talegaon. So this is correct. Treaty of Salbai was signed between Marathas and English at the end of Second Anglo-Maratha War. This is wrong. It was signed in 1785 after the end of First Anglo-Maratha War. So this becomes wrong. The Second Anglo-Maratha War started in the backdrop of a treaty signed by Peshwa Bajirao II with the British called Treaty of Versailles. Now, third, Lord Hastings' actions, his time period is 1813 to 1823 in India. Lord Hastings' actions taken against the Pindaris served as the main cause of Third Anglo War. That is true. He put the allegation against the Marathas that the Pindaris are creating law and order problem in our territory, and they were earlier soldiers serving in your army. So you are instigating them to enter our territories and do all kind of criminal activities. And this was used as an excuse by Hastings to wage the last war against the Marathas to wipe out their power. And this happened in 1817, 1818. So this is correct. Pindaris was the main issue. So statement 1 and 3 are correct. Therefore, C is the answer for question number 71. In question number 72, you have been given 2 statements, and you have to see whether statement 2 supports statement 1 or not, and identify the correct answer using the options given below. So statement 1. Orientalists' policies advocated for knowing the Indian culture and tradition to restore to Indians their forgotten culture and legal system. Orientalist means those Englishmen who were interested in India's or Oriental, Eastern civilizations, history and culture. They admired it and they wanted to preserve it and restore it. And this was the case with Sir William Jones or Prinsep, who were the Orientalists. So that is true. During the Governor Generalship of Lord William Bentinck, there was two groups created on the issue of what should be the medium of instruction in India when education is promoted. Orientalists talked about Indian literature and languages. They supported that, while under Macaulay, the Englishists said English should be the medium of instruction and what should be taught is Western science and literature. Finally, the Englishist won and a new education policy was adopted after passage of regulation by Lord William Bentinck as per Macaulay's document in that favor called Macaulay's Minute. Right. So this statement is correct. Statement 2. Orientalists proposed that conquered people were to be, conquered means in our case, India was conquered by British, were to be ruled by their own laws. That was not the cause and were against authoritarian rule of Britain. They believed that European laws should be used and for the welfare of the Eastern people, they should be civilized to British laws and systems. So that statement is not correct and therefore we would say statement 1 is correct and statement 2 is incorrect. So C is the answer. For more details, you can always refer the handout, right? Question number 73. It is related to land revenue systems. The 73rd question is saying with reference to the Mahalwari settlement. There were three major land revenue systems which were imposed by the British during their rule. That was Zamindari or permanent settlement in the what you can say northern and eastern side of the country. In the northern and western side of the country, it was more of Mahalwari system. In the southern side, it was more of Ryotwari system. So, with reference to Mahalwari settlement, consider the following statements. It was introduced in northwestern frontier and Gangetic Valley. As I said, north and western side, so it is correct, Gangetic Valley, and taxes were collected from the village directly. The village was called Mahal and assessment was done collectively for a village, that's why Mahalwari system. So this is true. One of the early effects of the settlement was that the areas under the control of the Zamindars were reduced. This is not correct. The term used to be is Talukdars, right? It was Talukdars, the old kind of revenue collectors who existed during the medieval period. Their, what you can say, control was reduced. They controlled the Zamindars. So this is factually wrong. The Ryots or the farmers, cultivators who were considered the owners of the land in the Deccan region of Western India suffered heavy taxation under the Mahalwari system. No, the system's name was after their name as Ryotwari system, where Ryot was recognized as the owner of the land and the land revenues was to be collected directly from the farmer or Ryot. And because they were caught in the clutches of the moneylenders or sahukars who were mostly Marwaris and Gujaratis, especially small Ryots or landowners, cultivators, it led to riots in 1870s, right? So Mahalwari is not the name of the system, therefore the statement also becomes wrong. So which of the statements ever given is correct? We can say only one. A is the answer for question number 73. The second last question, that is the 74th question. With reference to Sardar Patel and Jawaharlal Nehru, consider the following statements. Two statements are given and you have to identify which of the statements given above are correct based on the options given below. So let us see. Sardar Patel opposed the declaration of the adoption of socialism at the Congress session at Lucknow in 1936 under the presidency of Nehru. This is correct because he said if you focus on socialism and all these things, you will lose attention from the main goal, that is independence. That's why he was opposed to this resolution. Second, unlike Patel, Nehru initially criticized Gandhi's proposal for an all-out campaign of civil disobedience to force the British to grant independence. This is true. Nehru and many other leaders criticized Gandhi's proposal because they did not want to be done in haste, while Patel gave many speeches in favor of civil disobedience movement and forced British to grant Indian independence. So, what we can say, the second statement is also correct. So, answer would be both 1 and 2. C is the answer for question number 74. Now we go to the last question in the history section, that is the 75th question. With reference to the princely states, in colonial India, there were two kinds of political units. The units that were directly controlled or administered by the British, they were called British provinces, while there were others which were ruled by the princely states. Princely states were not sovereign in full because they accepted the supremacy of the British crown. So, with reference to princely states in colonial India, consider the following statements. Two statements are given and we have to see which of the statements given above is correct based on the options given below. First, Montfort or Montagu-Chelmsford reforms recommended setting up of a chamber of princes as a consultative and advisory body with powers to discuss matters concerning existing rights. See, there were recommendations. Chambers of Princes was called Narendra Mandal, but they were not supposed to have any say in internal matters. So that way this statement becomes wrong. Butler Committee, it was appointed in 1927. This was somewhere around 1919 to 1922, right? Butler Committee was set up to examine the nature of relationship between the princely states and government and define paramountcy as supreme power. No, this is wrong, because Butler Committee was not appointed to do so. It was appointed to examine the nature of relationship between the princely states and the government, and it gave the recommendation that paramountcy must remain supreme and state should not be handed over to an Indian government in British India. So paramountcy was left undefined, and that created problem when India was in the closing to freedom. So this is also wrong. Which of the statements given above are correct? We would say neither 1 nor 2. D is the answer for question number 75. With this, all the questions are discussed. I hope this was fruitful, and if you have any queries, please come back to us. We will help you in providing more details regarding the various options which you have chosen. Thank you so much.
So, hello everyone. You have written the All India Prelims Mock Test number 4, and now we are going to take the discussion of Science and Technology section. Okay. So, there were around 10 questions from the Science and Technology area, and we will see each of these questions. We'll try to understand why these questions have been asked, and also we are going to understand what is the solution to each question. And as you know that Science and Technology is one of the most dynamic section in the UPSC Prelims exam, right? And UPSC does ask questions from the emerging areas, the areas that are in development now. And we have asked questions from many sections in Science and Technology itself. It includes biotechnology, it includes space science and technology, it includes, let's say, defense technology, it includes, emerging technologies also. So the questions that you have seen in the Science and Technology paper today are very, very important questions. So let us see these questions one by one. All right. So this was one of the questions. So this question is related to SPARDEX mission. Okay. So recently you might have come across this particular term in the news. It was one of the major missions that Indian Space Research Organization has recently launched, right? Chandrayaan-3 has been one such important mission. After then, this is one such important mission, which is a SPARDEX mission. So what this mission is all about, this mission actually showcases India's capability of space docking, okay? So in space, we can keep satellites that are going to track other satellites also, and it is going to play a major important role in our overall achievement related to the space sector. So we are going to see the statements that are given in this question, and finally we need to identify which statements are correct in this question. So one of the statement, it says it aims to establish India's capability to conduct in-space biological research. This statement is right. Okay, so basically like it is going to assist India to have in-space biological research also. Then it makes India the fourth country to successfully achieve space docking after USA, Russia and China. So India is the fourth country, right? So to have demonstrated the space docking capacity. Then it can determine the relative position and velocity of other spacecrafts also. Okay, so it will be able to keep a track of other spacecrafts also that are, let's say, I mean like, you know, there in the nearby area in this space. So all the three statements are right in this question. So correct answer is option C. All the three statements are right in this question. So with this, now let us move to the next question. Okay, we are going to discuss about the next question. So what is this question all about? This question is question number 62. It says biotechnology has seen many developments recently. In this context, consider the following pairs. Okay, so this question is related to biotechnology. The previous question was from space science and technology. So here few terms are given to the left side, right? So recent developments are mentioned, and what is the impact of these terms is mentioned on the right hand side. So left hand side they have mentioned about prime editing. Okay, what? Prime editing. Many of you might have heard this particular term, and many of you may not have heard also, because like, you know, this is a relatively recent term, new term, right? So people who are from biotechnology sector, they must be knowing about it, right? So what it does is it enhances precision in gene editing without cutting the DNA. You know, in gene editing what happens, like we have a base pair and like, you know, we do have a guide RNA. So what they do, they generally cut the DNA from a particular portion. They cut it from a portion, and then they can remove that section or they can add something else. But when we talk about prime editing, in prime editing we can edit a specific section of the DNA without having to cut the, you know, double strands, without having to cut the strands of the DNA. All right. So the first pair is correctly matched. When we talk about the second pair is about AI powered drug discovery. Okay. So what is its impact? It accelerates the identification of drug candidates and reduces cost. Okay. So basically, I mean like, you know, for any kind of disease that people have, there are researchers who are trying to identify drugs. I mean like they are trying to identify medicine related to this. And so one particular thing is AI powered drug discovery. I mean like using artificial intelligence, people can discover drugs, people can discover medicines that are going to be beneficial for curing a particular disease. All right. So this statement is also, I mean like this pair is also rightly matched. Now sustainable biomanufacturing. Okay, sustainable biomanufacturing. So this is a term. Biomanufacturing means manufacturing of biological products. And then sustainable biomanufacturing means like manufacturing in a manner so that like, you know, we can sustain the production for a long period of time without exhausting the resources, right? Without, you know, kind of exhausting the resources. So it says it focuses on eco-friendly production methods and reduces environmental impact. This statement is naturally right. Okay. Then fourth is gene drives. Okay. What is gene drive? So it spreads desirable traits in population to combat the disease like malaria. So all the four pairs are correctly matched. It means the correct answer is option D. And in UPSC Prelims exam also, they give such kind of, let's say like, you know, options. Generally, in many cases, most of the options are rightly matched or they are correct. Okay, so that's why we have asked in similar fashion. Okay, but the thing is, you should be aware about recent developments in the field of biotechnology and all. Now we have another question. This is question number 63. What this question says, it says, India's missile programs have seen significant advancements in recent years. In this context, consider the following statement. So this question is from missile technology. This question is from defense technology basically. Okay, three statements are given. You might have heard about names of these missiles. For example, the Agni missile, right? BrahMos missile, Shaurya missile and all. You might have heard about their name. But the thing is, like, you need to read little bit more also about them, so that like you know about these missile technologies, these missile systems, all right? So one of the question is, it says the Agni 5 missile is an intercontinental ballistic missile capable of carrying nuclear warheads. This statement is right, okay? So Agni series of missile, they are capable of carrying nuclear warheads, and Agni 5 is a kind of intercontinental ballistic missile, which is in short known as ICBM. It is capable of carrying nuclear weapons, and it is intercontinental ballistic missile. Then second is, it says BrahMos missile is a subsonic cruise missile developed solely by India. This statement is wrong, because BrahMos missile is not a subsonic cruise missile, it is a supersonic cruise missile. What? It is a supersonic cruise missile. All right, it is a supersonic cruise missile. So what do we mean by supersonic? A missile that can travel faster than the speed of sound, okay, that is supersonic. A missile that travels slower than the speed of sound is subsonic. What is the speed of sound? The speed of sound, let's say it is V, it is 343 meter per second. Okay, it is around this value. All right, this is the speed of sound in kind of air. All right, then third statement, the Shaurya missile is designed for quick battlefield support and has hypersonic capability. Okay, so it is designed for battlefield support, but the thing is, it does not have hypersonic capability. Okay, so subsonic, supersonic, hypersonic, I mean like subsonic, something that travels less than the speed of sound. Supersonic, something that travels at 4 Mach, 5 Mach, 6 Mach and all. Means Mach is the measurement, okay, of speed of sound. So 4 times the speed of sound, 5 times the speed of sound is supersonic. Hypersonic means around 18 times, 20 times the speed of sound is hypersonic, like that. So Shaurya missile has quick battlefield support, but it does not have hypersonic capability. So only first statement is correct, which is option A. Only one, okay, only one. Only one means the first one is correct and others are not correct. All right. Now we have another question. This is question number 64, right? What this question says, it says, which of the following statements regarding the applications of evolutionary theory is or are correct? All right. So this question is related to theories of evolution, right? It is associated with biology, okay, basic biology. So it says like, but we are talking about application of evolutionary things, so it is biotechnology basically. So it says the study of antibiotic resistance in bacteria is an example of natural selection in action where resistant strains survive and reproduce. This statement is right. Let's understand this. What does it mean? Okay. So let's say there are bacteria, right? These bacteria are able to survive in a kind of, let's say like, in a condition, right? So these bacteria are able to survive in a harsh condition. So they are kind of resistant strains. The ones that are able to survive, they are resistant to kind of, environmental challenges. So they have antibiotic resistance also. And this is a prime example of natural selection. Natural selection says, I mean like the ones that are able to survive, right, according to the surrounding, they are kind of fit for the survival in that environment, like that. Okay, so it is a kind of, let's say like an example of natural selection in action. And those that are not able to withstand, that are not able to survive, they will be wiped out also. Second statement, the concept of survival of the fittest implies that all species will be eventually adapt to the changing environment without any intervention. This statement is wrong. Why? Because all species are not able to survive. Some species are also wiped out, right? Because like, they are not fit for the environment where they are born. So only one is correct. Okay, second statement is not correct. A is the right answer. Now let us move to question number 65. Let's discuss about this question. What is this question all about? This question says, match the following applications of quantum computing with their respective sectors. Okay, so on one side we have the example of quantum computing, on the other side the sectors in which, let's say like, they are applied. Okay, So we are at this point of time seeing in which areas quantum computing can be applied. All right. So as you know, quantum computing has also made news, right? Recently it is in buzz. Why? Because Google Quantum AI, they have come up with a chip which is known as Willow. Okay, so this chip is able to do the computation in 5 minutes. That will take the fastest supercomputer in the world now 10 septillion years. 1 septillion year is 10 raised to power 24 years. So 10 septillion years would be 10 into 10 raised to power 24 years. Right? These many years will be taken by the fastest supercomputer to do that much computation, which will be done by of Google, which is Google's quantum chip, and they have named as Willow. Okay, this is the thing. So that's why it is in news. And in India also we have National Quantum Mission, and quantum computing, quantum science has been, it is now considered that 2025 is the year of quantum science. The United Nations organization has already declared this. So that's why we are discussing about it. So it says drug discovery. We know drug discovery is connected with healthcare. Fraud detection is generally connected with finance, right? Supply chain optimization is connected with logistics. Climate modeling is connected with environmental science. So these two are correctly matched. These two are incorrectly matched. Okay, like that. So which of the pairs given above are incorrectly matched? What incorrectly matched? First and second are incorrectly matched, right? So correct answer is option A. What is the correct answer? Option A is the right answer. So with this, let us now move to the next question. Okay, let's move to the next question. What this question is all about, it is question number 66. We'll see. So it says with reference to NISAR mission. Okay, with reference to NISAR mission, consider the following statements. So we have been given 3 statements now. Let's discuss about this. It says how many of the above statements are correct. Okay, so they have given 3 statements. First statement, it monitors Earth's changing ecosystem and measures ice mass. Okay, so this statement is right. What do we mean by NISAR? NISAR is a short form of NASA ISRO synthetic aperture radar. Okay, NASA ISRO synthetic aperture radar. So it's a kind of, let's say, so they are going to have an antenna in this space, and it is a collaborative project between NASA and ISRO. All right, and it's going to help, right, to monitor the Earth. It is an Earth observation satellite. Okay, in shorter form, it is an Earth observation satellite. So only the first statement is right related to it. So it says it monitors the Earth's changing ecosystem and measures ice mass. All right, this statement is right. Second, it makes India the first country to develop a satellite using synthetic aperture radar technology. See, India is not the first country. We need to understand India is not the first country, right? There are many other countries also that have already achieved this feat. Okay, so that's why this statement is wrong. Third, it deploys a single radar frequency for all observation. This is also wrong. Why? Because it uses L-band frequencies and it uses S-band frequencies also. Okay, so 2 frequency bands are used for this particular satellite, right? So that's why third statement is also wrong. Okay, so if you are from science and technology, you understand what do we mean by different frequency bands and all, right? Otherwise you can just remember, because like understanding that will take a lot of time. All right, so first statement is only right. A is the right answer. All right, so with this, let us move to question number 67. Okay, 67. We'll understand this question. It says which, with reference to recent advancements in gene editing technologies, consider the following statements. Okay, so this question is from biotechnology. We are talking about gene editing technologies, genetics. 3 statements are given. Let's understand these statements. First says CRISPR-Cas9 technology. Okay, CRISPR stands for clustered, regularly interspaced, short palindromic repeats. Okay, CRISPR-Cas9. Cas9 is a protein. So CRISPR-Cas9 technology is used for gene editing. All right, so first statement is related to that only. So CRISPR-Cas9 technology has been used in clinical trials to treat genetic disorders such as sickle cell anemia and beta thalassemia. This statement is right. Many a times this year, last year, you might have heard about it. You might have read in news, right? So that's why this statement is right. This is correct also. You might have heard about Cas-GV, Lyfgenia. So these are genetic, gene editing methods that have been approved by US FDA and also National Health Authority of UK. Then we have another statement. It says base editing allows for precise modification of DNA without causing double strand breaks, making it safer alternative to traditional gene editing methods. This statement is right. Base editing is also known as prime editing, as we discussed in the past. So this statement is right. Now third statement is Food and Drug Administration of USA. FDA, generally we are talking about USA. So it says the FDA recently approved a gene therapy that uses CRISPR technology to enhance T cell functions in cancer treatment. This statement is wrong because it has approved many gene therapy, but that was not specifically related to T cell functions. Although related to the T cell functions, some gene therapies are available, but the thing is it is not correctly made statement. So that's why third statement is wrong. Correct answer is only 2. 1 and 2 are correct. Question number 68 now. Alright, so we are in question number 68. We'll go through this question. What it says, consider the following statements about advancements in artificial intelligence. Alright, again, this particular question is from recent phenomena. And many organizations have said that the year 2025 is the year of artificial intelligence. And you have already seen, many artificial intelligence applications are around the corner. So what it says, that AI-driven tools are being utilized in healthcare for early detection and screening through image analysis. This statement is right. So this is AI-driven tools. They are used in healthcare for early detection and screening through image analysis. It is done. X-rays are being analyzed through AI systems and all, right? So this is true. In finance, AI tools are primarily used for traditional banking operations and do not play a role in fraud detection or algorithmic. This statement is wrong because AI has entered into the space of finance as well. Fraud detection, application C, application of AI. And also algorithmic trading has been in use for a long time. So this statement is wrong, all right? Because AI plays role in fraud detection. It plays role in algorithmic trading. All right, so only first statement is correct. Now this is question number 69. This is the penultimate question for today. So let's understand this question. What it says, match the following recent advancements in cell biology with their corresponding impacts or applications. Okay, so on one side we are seeing cell biology, topic is from biology field, and then on other side we have mention of impacts or applications. So one of the approach is multi-omics approach. It enhances understanding of cancer heterogeneity and informs personalized therapies. This statement is right, all right. Then tumoral culture systems provides insights into cellular interactions and disease mechanism at a single cell level. This statement is also right. Gene therapy innovations, okay, offers potential cures for genetic disorders and certain cancers through targeted gene editing. This is also right. By now you might be knowing that this is anyhow is right, all right. Then fourth, single cell analysis that allows for detailed profiling of individual cells to understand complex biological processes. All the four statements are correct. It means option D is the right answer. What? Option D is the right answer. So now let us move to the next question, which is question number 70. Let's understand this question. What is this question all about? It says with reference to Web 3.0. Okay, with reference to Web 3.0. Consider the following statements. Okay, so we have multiple statements. One of the statement is Web 3.0 promotes decentralization and allows users to have complete control over their data and digital. So this is the thing. This statement is right. Okay. Web3 means, I mean, like, using decentralized systems. Decentralized means where the trust is between the peer-to-peer. We don't need a central agency to trust, right? So it's peer-to-peer transactions happen. It happens because of blockchain technology, and Web3 promotes decentralization and allows users to have complete control over their privacy and data. This statement is right. Second, the primary focus of Web3 is to enhance the role of centralized authorities in managing user data and interaction. This statement is wrong. Okay, so centralized authorities do not have control over Web 3.0. Okay, so central authorities will lose the control. That's the thing. So correct answer is option A. So that's all from the section of science and technology. Thank you so much everyone for attending this part of the discussion, right? So other faculties have taken their discussion, and after me also there will be, let's say, other faculty who is going to take the discussion. If you have any questions like related to these questions, you can always write your comment in the comment section of this video. And thank you so much for writing this test also. This was the 4th test of AIPMT. And very soon we are going to start with Panch Sutra Prelims test series. All right. So we are going to take the discussion of Panch Sutra also. And that's how we are going to go forward. All right. So we hope that like you are going to qualify the UPSC Prelims. We have already recorded a video how to apply for the UPSC Prelims exam of 2025. Because this year UPSC has made many changes in the application process altogether. All right. So if you need any help in that regard also, you can reach out to us. On the description of that video, we have, let's say, given a Google form. You can fill that Google form. We will get in touch with you. Thank you so much.